Hello. Hello, guys. Cartoon Retro Boy here, and welcome to another Spongebob review. And, I have a lot to say about about Best Day Ever as a marathon itself, because, god dang, the choices of episodes is kind of a little inconsistent. I mean, for example, I think what pushed me over the edge when it comes to like the choices, honestly, of the top 100 was Karate Island. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Karate Island to death. I thought it was a great 8 out of 10 episode. But why was it number one on the list? It doesn't deserve number one in my opinion. It doesn't really deserve that number one entry. Heck, if you wanted a classic episode, you should have done SpongeBob Meets a Strangler or Band Geeks. Episodes or Chocolate with Nuts or Pizza Delivery. If you wanted to do like a classic episode, you could have also done Shanghai, because Shanghai could have easily been number one, honestly. And let me describe this too. But I feel like also this is just an extra video for the best day ever, review, because I forgot to mention this in my original review. But the reason why I think this event was controversial is because of the picks that they were for top 100. I mean, for example, number 96 was Sailor Mouth, which is a great episode. Amazing up is what my favorite season 2 episode, but it was at number 96 on the list. Number 80 was Dumped, which honestly, Dumped sounded like a pretty bad choice for an episode, honestly. And it doesn't get better from here. Number 17 was Grandma's Kisses, which honestly, Grandma's Kisses is not a good episode. I really didn't like that one as a kid. I used to like it, but I feel like now I don't like it anymore. Which is kind of sad to say, because I used to think season 2 was the best season ever, but nope, I was wrong. Season 3 is. And this episode, actually, no. Before I go to Grandma's Kisses, I actually need to talk about another entry that kind of ticks me off a little bit. Number 60 was SpongeBob Meets the Strangler, which is my favorite episode of the pre-movie seasons. And honestly, this entry kind of ticks me off a little bit. Like, you're telling me you could have put it anywhere else besides in the top 10. The top 10 is mostly consists of season 4 episodes, just because it was the most currently airing season. And it doesn't get better from here. Number 38 was Band Geeks, which is the best episode, which is one of the best episodes of season 2 in my opinion. But the thing is, why would this episode be at number 38 on the list, right? Well, it's because of Nickelodeon. Yeah, Nickelodeon made this event in the first place, so I have to blame them instead of the writers or the creators of the company. I blame the studio itself. And that's kind of saying something when you have a 24-hour marathon leading up to the best day ever episode. And yeah, I love Best Day Ever to death. I thought it was a 10 out of 10 episode. But all that hype for 11 minutes is kind of a little too, I don't know, contrived. It doesn't sound right to me. And usually I don't mind when they hype up an episode, but I feel like when they hype it up too hard, they might just disappoint fans, honestly. So if you guys are watching, Best Day Ever was a marathon that was 24 hours long, and it had leading up to this Best Day Ever episode. And basically, a lot of the choices is kind of a little, I don't know, just weird, in my opinion. So after Band Geeks, we got number 17, which is Grandma's Kisses. Grandma's Kisses. Are you kidding me? Why would kids vote for Grandma's Kisses as number 17 on the list? That just sounds very wrong, and I don't get that. Like, why would you rank that in the list? Another episode I think, honestly, I feel weird about it being in the list is All That Glitters. All That Glitters, man. Why would you pick All That Glitters of all episodes? You could have picked any other episode, even Good Neighbors, than actually All That Glitters. This is my second least favorite episode of season 4, honestly. And that's saying something when you have a lot of bad episodes, to be fair. Honestly, guys, if I'm being honest, All That Glitters is a bad episode. I really didn't like that episode, honestly. It's repetitive. It has so many filler jokes. It's just kind of repetitive. Has montages all over the place. And overall, just felt like a very, useless episode. I wouldn't dare even watch this episode, honestly. So yeah, this episode kind of so this episode really sucks. But it doesn't get better from here. Number seven was Camp. Well, number 6 was New Leaf of all episodes. New freaking Leaf. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't hate this. I don't love this. I don't loathe this episode. But this episode is so bad. Honestly, this episode is just a cop out. Like seriously, who in the right mind would put the New Leaf over the camping episode? In my opinion, that's just no. How would you do that? You can't do that. Like that's so ridiculous, honestly. Like how can you do that? But but it doesn't get better from here. In number 1 was Karate Island. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Karate Island like other people do, but this is the exact episode that I feel like should not be in the top 100. Because Karate Island is just a good episode, it's a great episode and all, but it does not deserve number 1 in the list. It's not even the best SpongeBob episode ever. So I don't understand why would Nickelodeon just like put Karate Island at number 1 on the list. That just makes no sense to me. Like putting Best Day Ever at putting like, and then you have the Best Day Ever episode, which I do enjoy, but I can see why people don't like it because one, Nickelodeon hyped this up like a 22-minute special, even though it was not but it was 11 minutes long, and two, the episode doesn't have too much substance, to be fair, and it just feels like very generic. It may as well be the most generic plot for a SpongeBob episode, to be honest. Well, it's not generic. It's not. I don't think it's generic, but I can see why people think it's generic, to be fair. But what pushed this episode into like why people don't like this episode is also because there's not too many jokes in this episode, which I can understand because I mean I didn't laugh at all in this episode, honestly. But I think what really made me honestly appreciate this episode is this SpongeBob's helping out his friends. That's all I care. That's all I cared about, because it's kind of nice to help out a friend and family member, and you get rewarded for that. Honestly, so so I don't really care about the jokes. Honestly, I mean, if I just find it entertaining and kind of fun and just kind of sweet. So this episode is kind of like a love or hate situation where you have a lot of where you hate the episode because of the marketing, or you love this episode because of the song. And the most notable thing about Best Day Ever is the song, Best Day Ever, which wasn't even written for this episode. This was from the SpongeBob first movie soundtrack, and also the credits of it. Because Best Day Ever is very catchy, honestly. And if you guys don't know, Best Day Ever is my favorite SpongeBob soundtrack of all time. This is my favorite song of all time. It's so catchy, so vibrant, so bouncy, so catchy. Just overall, a great soundtrack overall. I really love that track. And I think Best Day Ever overall is an episode that I think that deserves more love. Because I see Riders DX hate it. I heard Meech hate it. I'll link their channels in the description box below. I heard On does not like this. I heard some comments of On's channel doesn't like this episode, which is kind of saying something because, like I said, I heard even some people don't remember Best Day Ever, actually. Like, for example, Bort John also doesn't remember this episode from season 4. Honestly, so go subscribe to his channel because he is a pretty big YouTuber, to be fair, and he's bigger than mine, honestly. So, what's my thoughts on best day of a marathon? After all the negative things I had to say about this marathon, I still think it's a decent marathon overall. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I do think the episode is way better than the actual marathon. I think the marathon itself was better than. I think the problem is that I think the episode is better than the marathon itself because the marathon had literally a lot of choices for episodes that shouldn't have been in the top 100. And I think what also ticks me off about this marathon is that why would you put all that glitters in New Leaf in the top 12? Especially Karate Island too, because Karate Island is like an episode I really like it as a kid. I really liked that episode as a kid, but I didn't like. But this episode does not deserve number one in the list. Heck, if you wanted to do a classic episode, do Shanghai or something, or Snowball Effect, or heck, if I'm being honest, you know what episode could have been in the number one? Christmas Who? Yeah, where's Christmas Who in this? Or Shanghai? Or the Fry Cook Games? Actually, what about Jellyfish Hunter, actually? That could have been a good episode to end off the event. Or you could have done The Sponge Who Can Fly, actually. Any episode could have been easily better as number one. Which I find baffling that Cry Island was the episode they chose. They could have done Shanghai, honestly. A 15-minute episode would have been easily a good send-off to this event. But, you know what? It's Nickelodeon, so why do I care? So, in conclusion, Best Day Ever Marathon was a pretty massive, decent marathon overall. It does have its flaws, but I do think overall it's still salvageable, honestly. Also, like I said before, go subscribe to like Mysterious Mr. Enter, Pie Guy Rules, Borjon, and also Demeach and Riders DX because I think they deserve a lot of the subscribers they get, and I think some of my subscribers should watch their channels too. I'm surprised by the negative reception Best Day Ever gets because I feel like it's because of the marketing, isn't it? I just know it's the marketing, honestly. I know you guys hate this episode because of the marketing. Because it seems like mostly the marketing is the problem in this episode, and it doesn't have many jokes, and also just feels like nothing like a special. And I don't really care really about the marketing of SpongeBob specials. As long as the special is good and stuff, then who the heck cares? But no, it seems like the marketing causes the episode to fall out, basically. For example, SpongeBob's True for Square, or Atlantis Grapantis. I mean, the marketing was heavily good, but the episode itself was horrible. Well, Atlantis Grapantis is a pretty bad episode, but I don't think it's the worst episode of the entire show. And overall, I think the worst SpongeBob, and I do think True for Square definitely deserves the hate it gets because it was a 10th anniversary special that sucked balls. I do think the episode would have worked better if it was, I think this episode would have worked better if it was 22 minutes long, honestly. Yeah, Best Day Ever should have been a 22-minute special, honestly, or a 15-minute long episode, because I think it would have worked a lot better if it was 15 minutes long. And it would have made the Gift of Gum shorter because the Gift of Gum is his sister episode. And you know what? If the Gift of Gum was the A episode and Best Day Ever was the B episode, you could have ended season 4 off with a good bang. But no, the Gift of Gum unfortunately ends season 4 on a pretty decent note, honestly. I mean, the Gift of Gum is not really a good episode in my opinion. I do think the episode is kind of gross in my opinion. I really didn't like this episode in my opinion. Sorry if I keep saying in my opinion, but I mean, the Gift of Gum is kind of gross and just kind of disgusting in my opinion. Okay, I'll stop saying my opinion so much. I mean, the Gift of Gum is just a gross out episode, honestly. and it only gets worse and it rivals the gift of gum in a way, actually. For example, Fungus Among Us. Like, Fungus Among Us definitely is the gross out episode, honestly. Like, it is gross, disgusting, and just ugh. Same goes with To Love a Patty too, actually. Just a creepy, gross out episode. Like, it's just gross, nasty, and just ew. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah. After all, I think Best Day Ever is not a bad episode. After all, I do think Best Day Ever is a pretty overrated, a pretty over.
So this is going to be a bit more serious. So recently, as you can see right here, I just received a copyright strike for the.
I think I think overall that Best Day Ever is a overrated overhated episode that don't need the hate it gets. You can give that hate to other episode, honestly. Like, for example, like I said before, Best Day Ever deserves no hate, honestly. And it deserves more love, honestly. I'm not the only one who likes this episode. Pugs for Thug actually likes this episode, actually, which is saying something when you're one of the best SpongeBob YouTubers ever likes this episode. And I've seen other people just think it's a meh episode or just overall not a great episode. And ultimate Frozen fan is a YouTuber that does SpongeBob like streams, and I say that in my opinion he does a lot of good streams, honestly. But like I said, I heard he likes Best Day Ever as much as I do, which is actually a good thing, to be fair. I like that.
Doing Best Day Ever activities at the Nickelodeon Family Suite.
I should have mentioned this in the video, but I also think that Best Day Ever overall was just a 10 out of 10, number 9 on my list episode, honestly. And hopefully I don't ever want to, and hopefully Best Day Ever in the future gets more love than hate, honestly. Because like I said, I don't think it deserves the hate it gets, honestly. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and Cartoon Retro Boys out, and follow me on Snapchat. Bye.